From R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, this is The Retirement.
When you retire, if you want an exciting life, you need a boring investment strategy.
Matters.
If you enter into retirement without a plan for income, you're not retired, you're simply unemployed.
Podcast.
Hey, this is your host, Dale Smothers, and you're listening to the Retirement Matters Podcast. My hope is that you will find the information you need in every single show on how to do one of the three things: either saving more money more efficiently, planning better for your future where you can live in retirement worry-free, or my favorite, how you can live a happy and fulfilled life in this life you have been given. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending it listening to this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast. On this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast, we go into the pros and cons of the 401k. And we discuss what the reason may be for you as you approach the age of 60 to consider moving from a 401k into an IRA. Now, there are a lot of people who may be in old 401ks, the money still staying in a place where they no longer work, or perhaps they are in a 401k even after they retire. Those are two very big mistakes that you're making with your money more times than not. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of the show because that's what the show is for, but I do want you to understand that if you need assistance in knowing whether or not a 401k makes sense for you, or whether you should be in an IRA over a 401k, or maybe it's reverse. Maybe you're in an IRA and you should instead be in a 401k. Give our team a call, 270-600-PLAN, or jump on our website, rdswealth.com, and we can assist you in answering that question. So without any further ado, let's get to this week's episode about pros and cons inside of the 401k. Enjoy the show. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well and you're ready to start discussing all things retirement matters. We have a show that is jam-packed with information all about whether or not you need a 401k and why you should consider moving to an IRA in your lifetime. We've got a lot to cover, so let's go straight to the pause for positivity section without wasting any time. Now, for this episode, the pause for positivity is simply introducing a theory that we have in our firm. It's called the red car theory. Now, for those of you who may not have ever heard this red car theory before, the theory goes like this. If I were to ask you, how many red cars did you see yesterday? And for every red car that you definitively saw, you would receive $100. How many red cars do you think you saw yesterday? The chances are that you are trying to scramble and maybe remember, but you don't know for certain. However, if I said today, for every red car that you see going forward over the next 24 hours, you will receive $100, you would have a definitive answer at the end of that 24 hours, and you probably would not sleep in the fact that you were looking for red cars. The theory here is that you see what you're looking for. And we use this red car theory in our office and across our entire firm, in all offices that we have. We use this theory as the red car theory for looking for opportunities to impact those around us in a positive way. This red car theory is something that drives us at our very core. It's one of our core principles. If you come into the firm, you will see the core values of our firm. And one of those is this red car theory, that we see what we're looking for, and we are consistently looking for opportunities to either make your retirement better, make your day better, or make your life better. And if we see those opportunities, we act. If you're an R.D. Smothers Wealth Management team member, you embody that. We have it at our core. And so the pause for positivity this week is going to be a challenge to you to have this red car theory throughout the next 7 days on people around you. To possess the red car theory with an optimistic and positive mindset of, if I see it, I will act on it. And I will not see it unless I'm looking for it. Therefore, how will I make someone's day better today? whether it's a small act of kindness of maybe picking up a piece of trash on the sidewalk, which is very small and very minute, and it doesn't shift the world scale in any way, one way or the other. Leaving it there or picking it up doesn't matter, but it creates momentum. I believe in this. It creates momentum for you to then take action on the next red car that you see, because the next one could be a big one. If it's holding the door open for an elderly lady or an elderly man, if it's holding the door open for a handicapped individual, how would you rate those in your mind? What is more effective in moving the optimistic needle of the world? Because what you have just done is you have created a world for that person that didn't exist just a few minutes ago. When you walk past someone and say, I like your shirt, or I like your hair, your shoes look nice. Oh, look at that watch. That's a sharp watch. You have just created a world for that person in their mind that has a nice person in it. And you are that nice person. You may as well put a cape on because you have just become the superhero for the moment. And you don't do it for that reason. But my goodness, one by one, with that type of mindset, you are changing the world around you for a better place. So here it is, the red car theory. You learned it right here on this show, the Retirement Matters show. Dale Smothers with R.D. Smothers Wealth Management taught me the red car theory, and I want you to take it into the world. And I want you to look at the world in a different scope and say, how can I impact this world? How can I make it a better place? If you're looking for it, I promise you there will be opportunities for you to do it. And then it's on you to take action. All right, there's the pause for positivity this week. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with some pros and cons on a 401k. I'm sure many of you have 401ks. Many of you have probably invested in 401ks or maybe drawing out of your 401k. And we're going to discuss the pros and cons for those who are putting money into a 401k. Should you have one? Should it be an IRA? We're going to go into a lot of that. Specifically, should it be an IRA is a question that we hear. Should we be moving my 401k to an IRA? And we're going to address that in this show. It may take a couple of segments. But I'm telling you, if you have that question and you don't have time to stick around for the next few segments, go ahead and log into our website, rdswealth.com. Schedule a visit with our team, and you can create a time where we call you at your convenience. About a 15-minute phone call would be able to assist you with at least answering some of your questions and know whether or not it makes sense to come in for a full-length, no-cost, no-obligation consultation where we can help you know what your next steps need to be. rdswealth.com. Navigate over to the piece that says schedule a visit. Click on that, and you'll see multiple options for many days to talk to our team. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more Retirement Matters right after this.
You're listening to the Retirement Matters Show with Dale Smothers. Dale is the founder and president of R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. We specialize in building retirement plans that allow you to walk away from the worry of running out of money. If you'd like to chat with a member of our team, you can do so absolutely free by calling 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-PLAN. Visit us online at rdswealth.com and be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are going into the pros and cons of a 401k. Having a 401k, there are certainly some pros to owning a 401k and putting your money into a 401k, and there are some cons to putting your money in a 401k, especially when we compare them to an alternative type of retirement account, let's say, like maybe an IRA, an individual retirement agreement between you and the IRS. An IRA would have pros and cons of its own when comparing it to a 401k. But let's look at the 401k specifically, because most people have built their retirement accounts on the backs of a 401k. Often it is the employer match that gets you started in a 401k contribution, which leads me to my first pro in a 401k. The first positive thing about owning a 401k is the fact that you oftentimes do have access to the employer matching. The employer matching gives you a unique edge inside of this 401k or even a 403b, any kind of employer-sponsored plan that gives you a match, this is a significant pro. And one main reason that you would open up a 401k as opposed to just having your own IRA. Now, the 401k, let's imagine, we'll use that as the example. And for many people who may not realize this, the 401k is not altogether a plan in itself. It's simply a tax code. It's a piece of the tax code in the Internal Revenue Code, the IRC. If you open the book to page 401 and you flip to Section K, you will see a piece of tax legislation that is governing the ability for an employee to put money into a plan and for the employer to then match said money. So this 401k, Section K of page 401, does come with a pretty significant pro for the employee, and that is, again, the employer match. Now, why is this a edge on the competition in all other types of retirement accounts? Well, it's because that money that you put in inside of a 401k, although it may have a vesting schedule, it is theoretically free money for you. If I were to tell you for every $5 bill you hand me, I will hand you a $10 bill, you are going to hunt for $5 bills. You are going to do your best, even if it means borrowing money, to hand me $5 bills, because every 5 you give me, I give you 10. It's doubled your money. This is exactly what it is like when you have a 3 or a 4 or 5% match with an employer and you put in your 3, 4, or 5%. You put in 5, they put in 5. If this is the example, you have just made 5% of your money turn into 10% of your income in that account. This is the $5 bill turning into a $10 bill in percentages. Now, this is a significant advantage for those young people that are saving for retirement as well, because now, let me talk to you in a little bit more depth here. You have the ability to be aggressive with that money. So let's just go back to the $5 and the $10 bill scenario. If you put in a $5 bill, but your account says $10 because you put in 5 and they put in 5, now your account says $10. Well, let's just imagine that you were really aggressive in the stock market and you just so happened to have a bad year and you lost 50% of your money. What does that mean for your account? Well, your account has went from $10 back to $5. But wait a minute, how much did you put in? Well, you only put in $5. Therefore, you have not really, quote unquote, lost anything. This is the $5 you set aside. And as long as you don't sell it, it's likely to turn into $11, $12, $13, $14, maybe even $20 in the future with the stock market growth. This type of aggressive investment becomes a significant edge on competition when we compare it to other types of retirement accounts, like, say, an IRA, because this employer matching allows you the ability to risk money that is not your own. Not only are you immediately doubling your money with no return whatsoever, but you are also hedging against losses, because now if you lose money, the first piece of money that's quote unquote gone is the employer matching portion of that money. And the market being down more than 50% is highly unlikely in a year's time. So let's think through that one step farther, thinking of an employer match, and I want you to consider your own 401k. Are you maxing out the match? And if the answer is no, then that's something you need to do tomorrow. You need to log into your 401k and you need to increase your contribution to at least capture the match. If you're not doing that, you're leaving free money on the table. And if you're young, if you are more than, say, 10 years away from retirement, there's no reason not to be aggressive with that money, because, again, the money that you are quote unquote risking is not really yours to begin with. You are putting to risk money that your employer put in the account. One last time for understanding, you put in 5, they put in 5, your account is 10. And if you lose 50% of that money, you've still got every dime of the money you put in. This is huge. So pro number one for a 401k is the employer match. Pro number two has to do with taxes. Just like everything we do here at RDS Wealth, we are looking at a holistic plan. And it's impossible to look holistically without looking at taxes and what taxes will do for you and what taxes will do to you. So when you think of your 401k, you may see it sometimes listed as pre-tax or post-tax, or maybe you see it as traditional versus Roth. The money that you are putting in, whether you need tax deferability of your income or it makes more sense inside of your tax plan to actually pay the tax now, and that does make sense for a lot of people, in putting it into a Roth or putting it into a traditional, it makes no difference. Because what we see inside of the 401k is that the number 2 pro is all about how much you can put in. Being able to put in more tax-advantaged money than you could in, say, like a IRA, for instance. The 401k, if you're over the age of 50, you can put in as much as $31,000 into a 401k. If you're under the age of 50, it's $23,500 this year. Well, how does that compare to an IRA? Well, in an IRA, the most you could put in is $8,000, and that's if you're over 50. If you're under 50, it's a $7,000 amount of money. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't be doing that, but if that's the only tool you have, it's going to be more difficult for you to save the amount of money you need in a tax-advantaged way, unless you are taking advantage of the 401k. So we talk about this pro of the employer match, but if you need more money tucked away for retirement to hit your goal, a lot of times the 401k provides a way of doing that. And if you have an IRA and a 401k while you're in growth mode, think about that. If you're over the age of 50 for 2025, you could put almost $40,000 away for retirement in a tax-advantaged way. It's a pretty significant pro if you think about it. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with some cons on the 401k and perhaps some reasons why you may want to roll those 401k dollars into IRA dollars after the age of 59 and a half. So don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more Retirement Matters right after this quick break.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Matters, presented by R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. If you'd like to speak with us, give us a call at 270-600-PLAN. And if you enjoy the information in this show and would like to hear more, you can access previous shows by searching for the Retirement Matters podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. We also produce a weekly newsletter. Receive it free to your email inbox by signing up online at rdswealth.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you are up to speed so far, you know that this show is about the pros and cons of a 401k. And we're kind of comparing that to, let's say, an IRA. Why is a 401k advantaged over an IRA, the pros? And why would it be considered disadvantaged to, say, an IRA, the cons? And here are the main cons. We got two big cons inside of a 401k, and then I'm going to go into why you may want to consider even moving out of the 401k after the age of 59 and a half if your particular plan allows it. One of the big cons for 401ks is the fee. The fee that is associated inside of that 401k is a lot of times picked up by the employer themselves, but it's shared by you in some capacity. Now, you may have disclosures that show you a platform fee, or maybe it shows a certain amount of fees, but it's likely that there are a lot of fees that are hidden inside of your 401k that you're not even aware of. So much so that Congress has tried to get involved and little by little try to pass more of a transparency act for 401ks, getting these 401k companies to disclose the fees that you are paying on those accounts. At RDS Wealth, we are big advocates of knowing what you're paying and why you're paying it. What value do you get from it? And the 401k fee is a value that you really aren't getting anything in return for. You're paying a fee without much real quote unquote return because they are putting you in a basket of mutual funds anyway, which we will get to as con number 2. But inside of this fee, you not only have the administrative fee and the platform fee and the plan fee, but you have the fee for the management itself. And when you total all of these up, including the mutual fund management fees, the average 401k is a little over 2% per year in fees alone. Now, this can be a major drag on a growth portfolio. Again, especially if you're not getting 2% worth of value, and it's unlikely that you are. So with the fees being the number one con, it would make sense for you to go look at how much you're paying in fees. And ironically enough, we have a 401k analyzer that will help you understand how much you are paying in fees inside of that 401k. We can assist you in extracting that information from the documents that you have on a quarterly basis. And it's not easy to see, and it's certainly not easy for you to put a number on, but we can help you. 270-600-PLAN if you're interested in getting more understanding about what you're paying for that 401k, especially if you're over the age of 59 and a half, because you have the ability to do something about it. And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. So the second con for a 401k has to do with the limited number of investments. We'll say it that way, the limited quality of investments, or even the limited quantity in some cases. You are essentially served a buffet-style selection of mutual funds. And mutual funds are not altogether bad, but a lot of times, not only do we have excessively high fees in some of these mutual funds, we have mutual funds that are maybe not as efficient as some of their counterparts. And they have paid big money to be on the docket for you, essentially, to choose them. And this is where we maybe even have a little bit of a conflict of interest issue inside of 401ks from time to time. But even without the quote-unquote conflict of interest or the ethical dilemma of how and why this particular fee got on the 401k, the fact remains that most 401ks offer a very small variety of investment options for you, the investor. And why then would you stay in a 401k if it's not required or necessary? This is where over the age of 59 and a half, it becomes, again, something you should consider. Moving out of a 401k and into an IRA where you have more control and a more more vast array of selections for your investments to choose from, and making sure that you are in a position to where that if the market does take a nosedive or even just a small step back, that you're not feeling as much of the downside of the market. See, 401ks are very good growth products, but they're lousy income products. When you are in an income phase or even gearing up for income phase, when your landing gear is starting to deploy because it's time to land in retirement, this 401k doesn't offer many good options most of the time. You've got to be very careful here because most 401ks don't offer good conservative investments. It's either equities or it's bonds, or even worse, it could be what they call a target date fund, which is just more fees. It's an inefficient way to manage your retirement account. I'm not against bonds, certainly not against equities or stocks, but this option that you have here is not ultimately in your best interest, but in the best interest of the firm that you are working for and the fiduciary that is responsible for making sure there's no discrimination in that 401k. What we want to be able to do is discriminate in your best interest, and a 401k doesn't allow it, but an IRA does. We want to be able to pick and choose the right stocks for you, and our team here at RDS Wealth can help make that happen. Not only does it help you in your growth phase of retirement from 59 to, say, 65, if we use the proverbial age of retirement, but it also helps you when you transition into income phase and you begin to take distributions from your accounts, making sure that you're not taking all of the downside of the market and leaving significant amounts of upside on the table. Long story short, and put a different way, we want to make sure that when the market's good, you're good, and when the market is bad, you're still okay. and we can help you with that. And it involves moving from a 401k and into an IRA. And then you may think, well, Dale, how do I still keep working? And I want to make sure I'm still keeping that employer match. And there is a way to do that. There's a very simple way to do that. And again, we can help you do just that. Moving the money you've already made, the money you've already risked and earned interest from, putting it into a more conservative-based IRA, and then continuing to contribute into the 401k, continuing to gather the match, and then becoming aggressive in that money. Man, that is a very, very powerful strategy that we help a lot of people as they approach their 60s. We help them deploy this strategy that is specific for the income phase and those who are approaching income phase. We can help you with that. Again, 270-600 plan. We would love an opportunity to show you how that can maybe impact your particular retirement. And of course, you can navigate to our firm's website, rdswealth.com, and set up a convenient time for us to call you and give you specifics on whether or not you need to be in a 401k or an IRA. We're going to take a real quick break. We're going to reset, and we're going to talk about what it means to be proactive versus reactive in the market and why you should be dealing with a proactive advisor as opposed to a reactive advisor. We've got a neat little analogy, maybe a visual here to help you memorize the differences and which one you need as you approach retirement income phase. Don't go anywhere. We're taking a quick break. We'll be back with more Retirement Matters right after this.
You're listening to the Retirement Matters Show with Dale Smothers. Dale is the founder and president of RD Smothers Wealth Management. We specialize in building retirement plans that allow you to walk away from the worry of running out of money. If you'd like to chat with a member of our team, you can do so absolutely free by calling 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-PLAN. Visit us online at rdswealth.com and be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter.
All right, welcome back to the show. I've got about a minute and a half to get this done, so stay with me if you don't mind. I am talking about the proactive and the reactive advisor. It makes a lot more sense for you to be working with an advisor who is proactively planning out your retirement as opposed to reactive to what the market throws at them. We see a lot of advisors who are specialists in the growth phase of retirement. The only thing they really are good at is quote unquote growing money. They're not really good at setting up the plans necessary to withdraw that money or everything else that goes into the income phase, such as taxes, healthcare, legacy, the income plan itself, and piecing that together, making sure we know when to take Social Security. All of that is what we specialize in RDS Wealth. Our entire team is specialists in that. But we see a lot of growth advisors who maybe are just reactive to what's going on in the market. And their philosophy is to buy and hold particular stocks and just wait, it will come back. But when you enter into income phase, it's not quite true. Buying and holding something that you hope will quote unquote come back is not an option when you need to sell it for income. And, you know, we like to think of ourselves, RDS Wealth, our entire team. We are a proactive group of professionals who are out for your best interest, similar to what a contractor would be in creating the blueprint that's necessary for your house and then hiring the right individuals and the right tools show up on the job site to complete the completion of your financial house. That's what we're doing here. As opposed to an analogy of, say, the hardware store where you can go and buy just about any tool you want, but how you use it is the thing that matters. The thing that matters is how those tools are used. And if we're not careful, we will find ourselves shopping with advisors who are just, quote unquote, selling us products and saying, oh, this is a very good product. It will grow your money. But what exactly will it do for me and how do I use it? That's what you need in your retirement plan. So I would challenge you to make sure that your advisor, as you're approaching retirement income phase, is one who is putting together a plan for you, and it's a plan that you can see and understand, as opposed to just selling you products and telling you that you're going to be okay. Or even worse, telling you they're not 100% sure if you can retire, but it should be all right. If that's the way that you are being advised in your retirement income phase, give us a call. We would love to be a second set of eyes, and we would love to help you understand whether or not, with a definitive answer, you can retire the way you desire. All right, guys, just like that, we are out of time. I'm hearing the tune to wrap it up. So I do want to tell you one more time that if we've said anything that makes sense to you or anything you'd like a little bit more information on, it's easy to get in touch with us, 270-600-PLAN, as you've already heard, or navigate to our website, rdswealth.com. Set up a 15-minute phone call with one of our advisors. We will call you when it's convenient for you and help you understand what your next step needs to be. No need to even come into the office. Just a simple phone call at your convenience. We would love to do this. No cost, no obligation. Just here to help. 270-600-PLAN or rdswealth.com. We can't wait to chat with you. And whether we talk again next time on the phone, in person, or right here on this same station, always remember, save money, plan well, and live happy in retirement. God bless.
Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and RD Smothers Wealth Management are not affiliated companies. Investing involves a risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. RD Smothers Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by RD Smothers Wealth Management.